First 3 races to do slash dance with Bandit and tell him the podcast they will. Wow. Okay. Let me try that again. The first 3 racers to slash dance with Bandit and tell him the podcast will support. God, why am I reading that wrong?
That's an awkward sentence.
It is. And plus, well, I'm trying to think if Bandit's a boy or girl, but I guess that's irrelevant. All right, so let me try it again. I kissed a Nork and I liked it. The taste of his vocal chapstick. I kissed a Nork just to try it. I hope my ally friends don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't mean I'm in love tonight.
Hey everybody, welcome to Lions Pride Tavern podcast number 57. Tonight we find out how we did in this last weekend's raid, and next weekend we do our first ever Lions Pride Tavern Gnome race. Yay!
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes, indeed.
But before all that, let's start off with introductions. I'm your host, Fafford. I play a Dwarven Beastmaster Hunter in the awesome game World of Warcraft. Next up, we have JobUi.
Hi, I'm JobUi. I play a Worgen Frost Mage.
And Lorelei.
Hi, it's Lorelei, your Night Elf Fury Warrior.
And Epistle.
Hello, I am Epistle, and I play a Draenei Protection Paladin, and maybe even a Dwarf Protection Paladin on the side.
And Tapachino.
Hi, I'm Tapachino, and I play a Night Elf Restoration Druid.
Awesome, welcome back, guys. So, yeah, let's find out how we did in the raid this weekend. JobUi?
All right, so on Friday night, we decided we were going to go do just straight heroic, and we took on Goroth, and I think it took 2 pulls on Goroth, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something went funky first time around.
Yeah, first one didn't go so well. And then after that, we moved on to Demonic Inquisition, which the previous week we one-shotted Demonic Inquisition. But this week, we wiped until break on Demonic Inquisition.
They had more questions for us this time around.
Yeah, and then eventually, when we got back from break, we did get it down, but it was a squeaker. It was a real sloppy win. Just the 2 tanks were left alive. Everybody else was dead, and
I thought that was a glorious win, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked at the logs on that, and it wasn't. There was a lot of mistakes. Mistakes were made, but then we went on from that. We took on Harjatan, got Harjatan down, and we spent the rest of the raid, but between both nights, trying Sisters of the Moon, and not getting Sisters of the Moon down. But there was a lot of effort put into it, but it didn't happen for us.
And we didn't even miss the trap this time either.
No, nope. Someone just walked straight into the trap this week.
Yep.
Wasn't it tank, was it?
Tank?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was.
Yeah, I'm
Present
pretty
company
sure.
excluded.
Well, I
He
do
was-
know it wasn't me, but you know.
I think he was texting while walking through the raid or something.
Wait! Didn't that happen on Friday night to somebody else too?
Yep.
He wasn't texting. He was staring at his map, or something, or looking at the adventure guide or something like that. He was staring at something else when he should have been watching.
Distracted
Yes.
running. Bad idea.
Yeah, right into a trap. But I mean, we went back and helped him.
Well,
Obviously,
wasn't that Mac from the Goblin Goldcast that tripped up
Yeah.
last
Oh,
weekend?
on the Friday?
It was.
You're not
Yeah, I think it was Mac from the Goblin Goldcast.
It was certainly Mac. It was. There's no question. It was certainly
Say
Mac.
a little
Mac,
clearer.
That Mac guy.
On the first one from the Goblin Goldcast, he was texting while walking straight into it. And
Did
then,
you guys notice that, like, Mrs. Mac doesn't do stuff like that? She's, like,
No.
pretty on point.
Yeah, no nonsense from her.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, it was. And then the second night it was our one of our main tanks. It was Durag who walked into it on the second night. So
And he
both,
definitely was texting.
was he
Not
texting?
for the
I
first
thought he was.
time.
I thought he was looking at his map. Was it?
No, he was definitely texting.
All right.
I think he was chatting with the other tank.
So reminder, folks, texting and walking through raid environments is a bad plan.
It's dangerous to everybody's health.
But
So,
yeah, so it
go
was
ahead.
a little rough. So it was a little bit of a rough week. You know, I think it was the main difference. We had a lot more people this week that came raiding than the last time. I think we only had like what was it, like 20 people or something the previous raid, a little less than that maybe. And this one was like 27, 28.
Yeah, we were pretty full.
But here's the interesting thing. So we were working on Sisters with 20 people and had a heck of a time. So we went to Demonic and dropped her in one shot. Or them, him, whatever. But in this one, we gained more ground on Sisters, but couldn't get Demonic down by having more people. But we gained more ground than we did by having 20. So I honestly think it's all about raid makeup.
A lot of it is numbers too. Some fights like Sazine, you really have a hard time doing it with like 15 people. You've got to have a little bit more. Even at 10, that's very, very hard to do on heroic.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because you've got to have the people to soak the lines, whatever the lines are in that fight.
Yeah, and there's 3 of them that come out then.
Yep. And if you don't have enough people, you're continually going to wipe it.
Yeah, so like on Sisters of the Moon, there's the incorporeal shot that requires 6 people to stand in that line, minimum. And so if you have more people in that one, you know, there's more available people to stand in that line, you know, versus a smaller group.
We did get better as the night. I mean, it took a while, but we did progress slowly but surely too.
Yeah, it didn't feel like
used
bashing
to
our
it.
head, which was good. That's always bad to see when you feel like, oh, more and more of death and death and death. But you know, got a little further, a little more skill. But it was
Learned
slow
a little
going.
more.
Our last 2, according to the logs, our last 2 polls were our best polls.
Yeah, we were certainly, people were starting to get a little more used to the mechanics, and we were starting to figure out, okay, what do we have to do to get past this spot that's killing us, you know, and that was starting to work out a little bit, but you know, it was a rough go. I know on the Demonic Inquisition kill, at least, there was some mechanics that normally get handled very well. I was looking at the logs, and they were not handled very well. Belak in that fight needs to be interrupted a lot more consistently. That needed to be taken care of. Also, people were still having some issue with the new mechanic of the calcified quills in that fight. Some folks were handling it really, really well, and then some folks were aiming it wrong still. But that wasn't the thing that was really in the poll that we actually finished the fight. The thing that killed off most of the players was a lack of interrupts on Belak over the course of the fight.
Well, I'm going to tell you one of the things that happened to me, which I thought was really weird. I was in Belak, getting my little circles to come back out. I did a few shots, and then I came out, and when every time I came out before, I came out by the door. This time I came out right underneath Belak as he's in his little swirly thing that he does, and I died right there as I came out.
He was doing Fell Squall when you came out?
Yes, and I died right underneath of him. But all the other times I had gone in and came out, I came out by the door. So there's got to be something that differentiates between coming out underneath Belak and coming out by the door. Maybe some of our fans know, because I looked all over and I couldn't find anything.
I usually come out underneath him.
I have never come out anywhere but underneath him. That's the only spot I've ever come out.
Yeah, me too. I've never
gone
out by the door.
I did both. I mean, I came out once in the back and then once underneath them too. So
I wonder what the difference is.
Yeah,
as a tank, I'm always coming out.
Is it SPAC
at the back.
No, because I literally went in on the last poll that we decided to do, I literally went in 5 times. And the 4 times prior, I came out by the door. And this is all on our live stream. And the last time, I'm going, all right, we're getting him closer. And I'm at full, I'm coming out. Boom. And he's doing his little spinny thing, and I die. I couldn't even get out of it. And that was the only time I came out under Bellex. So I don't know what causes it, but, maybe one of our fans knows. You guys can let us know. Shoot us a comment or something and let us know.
I've never come out where he's doing a spinny thing. I've always come out and been able to run away.
Well, his when you have to go to Atragan when you can't target him. I came out under him when everybody's targeting Atragan. So you're not even supposed to be near him. Even the melee don't go near him.
Yeah, I just decided to take a quick look just to see if there was anything like on like the Wowhead strategy guide or anything that mentions even where you come out at. And it doesn't even talk about where you come out at on there. It just talks about you go down and you collect your orbs and then you come back out. But it doesn't really say where you show up at. And I found that kind of interesting because I remember when Lorelei initially was saying, hey, you don't hang out by the door because, you don't want to leave the big purple spears over there. And I was like confused because I was like, what are you talking about? Nobody comes out over there because, I never come out over there. So I had no idea you could even come out someplace other than underneath Bellac.
You know what I'm just thinking? I'm just thinking, as you were talking about that, I was like, I wonder if it's how close you are to him when you go in.
Like if you're close to him when you go in, then you show up far away, and if you are far away, then you show up underneath him?
No, because, the other 4 times
I
was
because
further
I'm
away.
always far away from him.
Yeah, and I'm always close.
Yeah.
Actually, most of the time I get thrown to the back. I'm not sure if it's maybe length of time that you're in there. I have no idea.
I was just wondering if ranged comes in under him and melee comes by the door just to, mix things up a bit. But
no, because I came out by the
sense.
door 4 times, and the other time I came out underneath of him. So I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah, but I know that killed me. So.
Inquiring minds want to know, fans.
Yeah. So yeah, Sisters, I think we did, I thought we did a lot better progression this time. People are getting more used to the mechanics. And I did watch somebody, what is the big circle in the 3rd phase where it silences you? I watched somebody put all 3 of their circles on top of one another.
Well, that was good.
They did not spread it out. Now, I don't know, maybe they died when that happened because you take damage during it too.
Yeah, I don't know. Those circles they were getting better as far as our positioning of where we were leaving them. That was certainly being handled a lot better by everybody in general.
Now, what was that was killing us though? Because I know other groups have reasons why they get kind of wiped out, but there was something
Blade Storm.
Yeah, because I was watching every time.
Glaive.
I'd watch, and then all of a sudden, Kaboom would have, I think it was a glaive. The glaive would go out once, people would avoid the big one, they would split, people would avoid that one. The third one, 4 would be dead.
Yeah, there was a couple of things I saw in there. Some people were being killed. There was one point where I think 5 people got killed because they were standing in the beam, and they needed a 6th. And there wasn't a 6th person standing in the beam, so 5 people got killed straight away.
That was our second to the last poll.
Yeah, and then a lot of the other ones was the glaive storm. It was just the glaive storm would get X number of people. It was either one of those 2 that was killing 90% of the people that went down. I mean, some people were accumulated damage over time, but the vast majority of the people were dying from that. The other thing that killed a few people was the umbral detonation, which is the shield blowing up from not having it be healed off. They could be standing too close to another player or something like that, or a couple of other players and have it go off. But it was primarily the glaive storm and the beam. Forget the name of that.
Yeah. Well, the glaive storm, I know if you get hit by yourself with the big one, the very first one that comes out, it's 20 million damage. And now mark me if I'm wrong, but I think then when it hits the wall, it splits into two, and it probably splits those into 10 millions.
No, it splits into 3.
Oh, into
And then
3? Okay.
the glaive storm, the big glaive hits the wall, splits into 3, which can go in some pretty wild directions. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily always go the same direction when it bounces off the wall. And then those hit another wall, and then they split into 3 more. So in total, you'll end up with 9 of the smaller glaives streaming around the room. But it's mostly the big glaive or the combination of glaives that are killing people, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
the big glaive, I know that's when we were all grouped up before last week. Not this week, but last week. When we grouped up to get in a line for the beam, the big glaive came right through the center of everybody, and that's 20 million per person. So I totally get why it wiped, everybody there. Because I don't think until it hits the wall and splits does the damage drop, and then it hits a third time. And I think the littler ones aren't as bad, but if you get hit with any of the others and then get hit with a little one, it's enough to take you out.
Now, I did find that if you just stop and look at where the glaives are going, you can avoid them, but you really can't do much else while you're doing it, especially as they're splitting and stuff.
That's funny because I found it easier just to keep running. When I saw a glaive storm come out, I just ran, and I just kept running. I never stopped. I ran and moved, zigged and zagged, and
Yeah, I found myself like standing there, and like what I would do is I would watch the glaive, like the big glaive, see where it's going, make sure I'm out of its path, and then after it bounced, I would watch where the 3 is going to go, and then make sure that I was out of the path of those. I mean, when I caught it, 'cause I mean, sometimes there's so many things going on, you may not be looking exactly the right direction, and all of a sudden the big glaive is right behind you, and you're like, oh no, run away. But
Surprise.
yeah, but I'd try and watch them and then look for spots in the trajectory where I could be out of the way. But it's really, it gets difficult, especially when you're trying to DPS and you're trying to dodge
Yeah,
other
or
mechanics.
trying to heal. Oops,
Or
sorry,
trying
I
to
just
clear
don't want to
your
get hit by this
stacks.
glaive, guys. It's
well, that's what I was just
challenging.
thinking. So let's talk about this real quick. Let's change up our strategy a little bit when we get to the glaive storms. I think someone needs to call it out. Just yell out glaive storm, and then everybody just stop what they're doing and avoid it, because we're also going to get the beam.
Yeah.
So we need to, we need to do the conga line in the beam. But I think what happens is just like you were saying, JoeBuoy, there's so many other things going on. You want to keep DPS and you want to keep healing, but you shouldn't. I think we need, because we didn't even get close to running out of time.
No.
So I think
so
if we
that
just
would-
concentrate on, hey, really pay attention to this mechanic, I think that'll help us. What do you guys think? I mean,
Oh,
think that's a
Yeah.
good
it's
idea?
definitely worth a
Yeah,
shot.
because we know because I looked this up during the fight, the first big glaive is always going to come into the center. So we need to not be in the center. But once it hits the wall, then we need to move away from the walls because people get caught near the walls and you've got all those glaives bouncing off the walls and there's nowhere to go. So we need to, it needs to be very fine tuned about how we move during each of those, move over here in the middle, get away from the middle. And then everybody does have to stop and just get away from the glaives.
Yeah, I
Yep,
think that's
survival over
definitely-
DPS in this.
Yes.
It's hard
Well-
because I know I'm always looking for them and I can still get hit with them because it's like, oh, I didn't see the one coming behind me. But, I can at least avoid getting hit by 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, one of the other things in this particular fight that makes it difficult as far as being able to spot them all is, I don't know about you guys, but I play with my camera pulled pretty much during raids as far back as possible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
and-
me
Yep,
too.
always a little top down too.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I play back with as far back as possible, but the walls of this room are very tight. So a lot of times the camera angle gets pushed in tighter to my character than I would prefer, and then I don't get as wide of a view of the play field as I would like, and then I don't see a glaive coming because I'm not seeing it coming from my left or what have you, and then I end up getting clobbered by one of those glaives. So that can be a little problematic, but I totally agree. I mean, I think as far as it goes, I think doing the mechanics on this fight in heroic, like if we don't stop, pay attention, react accordingly to that mechanic, that glaive storm, I think it's just going to keep wiping us. So I totally agree. I think we should just have everybody stop what you're doing and get
Yep.
through that mechanic, and then move on with the fight.
And it doesn't really last that long. It's
No.
just bing, 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 bing. So
Yeah, but you mix it with dropping your debuffs, and then it gets trickier.
It does.
And then you get, other things on the ground and the complexities. That's part of the problem. I do think people are getting a more of a rhythm in terms of running across to one side of the room and back to the other to be able to drop their debuffs pretty quickly. I don't see people. We've been in trouble when I see stragglers as the moon is eclipsing and going from one side to the other. If someone's straggling on the far side and they're going to have to drop their debuff, they're kind of in trouble. But I'm seeing less and less of that.
Yeah, and I think we need to reiterate that at 6 stacks you need to go clear.
I will.
Your
I will say
countdown
that
works great, JoeBuoy, by the way.
Yeah,
on,
that new week
course.
aura.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
that-
helpful.
Yeah, I mean, because I had trouble looking down at my debuff bar. It's so small, and I'm like,
yeah.
and it's so cluttered with other things that, like, looking at that to try and pick out, I have 5 stacks or I have 6 stacks. It's just almost impossible while I'm trying to look at other mechanics. I mean, maybe somebody else is really good at that, but not me.
Not me.
So that week where I have the big number on the screen, and then it like gives you a very polite ding when you're at like 7 and it's time to clear them, and then a really annoying if you go all the way to 10. So it's
Yeah, I've got to reload that for some reason. When you did the update there, it didn't work for me after that. So
Did you get rid of the old one first?
I did. I deleted the old one.
Yeah, I will.
I'll just try again.
Yeah, I'll make sure I post a link to our podcast page to that week aura if other people want it, because I think it's a pretty useful one for that particular fight.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do too.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah, it was.
absolutely.
I like
Having
the way
the
it
big
changes
number,
color.
I like it when I can see like the big number rather
Yes.
than, for me, looking at the little box with the little number down by my action bar is a lot better.
See, now mine's up by my mini map.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah,
move
mine
it.
is too.
I move it because I'm not looking at my mini map while I'm
I
in the
know.
middle. So I got to put it down where I'm, glancing at things.
That's why I really like JoeBuoi's, because it's like, hey, it's green. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Right
Oh,
in
now
your
it's
face.
yellow.
Yeah, it's
4,
awesome.
5, 6. Uh-oh.
It's red
Better
now.
run.
It switched to red.
Oh, wait, I'm dead.
And
Oh,
I
the
did
big-
hear that at first. I did hear that and a couple of times.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then, like the
run.
big bouncing text reminding you if you get too far into it.
Well, I have a lot on my screen with all my healing bars and stuff too, so it actually works out good being right in the middle and the top.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, all right, cool. What else? What else we got on Sisters? Because I'm not even going to go into demonic, because I think we can get demonic down. I think we're just getting a little frustrated with it.
Believe it or not, I actually, on that demonic, I mean, it's nuts. Like, I even saw that in the logs, like, some people were dying from the suffocating dark, which is the big purple spheres that show up. Like, some people were just standing in that stuff and dying.
All right, so
Um,
here's what I found.
I could have sworn.
It slows you down, and it does ticking damage, and I was already low at a couple of times, and it hit me, and I couldn't get out of it. But what I found out is that if I get it and I hit my button, my extra action button, and go inside, I'm gone.
Sure.
That's why I went in on the last poll, why I went in 4 times, because I kept getting hit with the purple, and I just went extra action button, and I went inside, because it really is slow. It slows you like 60% to get out, and it does a lot of damage. And so if you're already damaged, and then that hits you, you're going to die off. And that's what happened to me the first time. So on the last poll, I just kept hitting my extra action button every time I got the purple, and went inside and collected a couple of orbs and came back out. But then I came out right underneath Belak and died.
Right.
Now, I could have sworn I saw some people who went up to 99 stacks at the debuff and just weren't going in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
can't do
they
that.
wouldn't ask. I was just gonna say that too, because I saw people weren't asking for for dispel. They were just taking
Why?
the damage. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they just didn't know it.
Well, there was one point that I went all the way to 100 on that, but that was because my wife was trying to ask me if she could have one of my hard apple ciders, and I couldn't hear what she was trying to say, and I kept looking at her saying, "What? I can't hear," because I got the headphones on. I'm like, "What do you want? I can't hear. You got to talk louder." And like I'm trying to watch the screen, and we're in the middle of a fight, and then like she's like, "Oh, never mind." I'm like, "What did you want?" Whatever, because I thought it would maybe something important. And then she's like, what are your hard apple ciders? I'm like, yeah, fine. And I look at my screen, I'm at 100 of the stuff. My screen is like flashing. I'm like near dying. The healers are trying to keep me up. I'm like, I gotta get inside and clear this stuff. Panic.
No one's asking for a dispel.
She just wants a hard apple cider.
Well, I didn't ask for a dispel. I asked for something else, and everybody gave me crap for it.
Yeah, but you asked to be disenchanted.
Yeah, that's
what you
what
asked
Yeah,
for.
that was
Disenchant me.
funny.
Everybody's, and nobody did it. I never
I
did.
know.
I'm an alchemist. I'm sorry, an herbalist.
I was hoping someone would disillusion me once, but that didn't happen either.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not allowed to do that
I was
cross
waiting for someone to
server.
heal me. Oh wait, that did happen.
Now, I think demonic. I don't think we'll have too many. You know, it was a big group, and we did not have the same makeup last time, and bigger groups, you know, was hurting cats even more. You know, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just when you don't have the exact same people and exact same competition or composition each week, you know, you gotta roll with it. You know, we may not
Yeah,
get
you got to
the
learn
same
to
boss.
adjust.
Yeah.
And there are some different strategies you can do with Inquisition. What we do is we assign groups, and then during Black's first, whatever it is that he does, group 1, everybody goes in whether you need it or not. You get the orbs up so that people can have them, and then you come out. Then the next time group 2 goes in, and then so everybody goes in whether or not you have to, but orbs are always up for healers if they need them.
Now, what's the purpose behind that? Why would you
That's just
send half
I mean
your
that's
group
what the
in?
raid leaders have come up with, but I think it's just to make sure that
That's
there's
everybody's
always
clearing.
people in, that everybody's clearing, that nobody comes out with high stacks of the buff.
Hmm.
The
There
debuff.
were a couple of times on the regular that people weren't doing enough damage or something inside, so those orbs weren't there, and as a tank I had to get back out again. But I couldn't because they hadn't come out yet, and I wasn't doing enough damage to get them. So, but I haven't seen that ever a problem for us on Heroic.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
every time, just so you guys know, as a hunter, every time I go in, I always use multi-shot because I'm hitting it 3 different times, and it seems to drop a lot of orbs when I use multi-shot.
Yeah, I know. As you know, going in when you're a healer, it's like kind of, hoping that people will be in there and doing a bunch of balls so that we can all get out.
Yeah, because you can't make any balls, can you?
Not by myself.
And we need
Yeah.
to come up with an interrupt order too. We haven't been doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that
normal,
was-
everybody was doing it, and it never was a problem.
Well, this one, I was kind of shocked when I saw that in the logs that it was really, because I hadn't really brought that up as a point, of make sure you're interrupting, because everybody had been doing that in the normal runs, and there was so many interrupts missed on that when we actually took them down. There was that's the only one I really looked at. I didn't look at all of our wipes, but lots and lots and lots of interrupts missed, a surprising amount.
Okay. Well, we'll do that then. We'll make sure we set up an interrupt order for the next time, because a normal, it seemed like we had more than enough interrupts and people were just doing them and there wasn't any issues. So, but
Right.
that might
Well,
be
it's
part
probably
of
a
it.
case more of interrupts are being overlapped, and then I can only do 1 every 3 interrupts.
Right.
So I mean, if you've got 3 people interrupting at the same time, then that's at least 2 interrupts you don't have for the next time.
Yeah.
Wasted effort in a way.
Yeah,
Yep.
even my interrupts like 24 seconds apart, so I can only do them once in a while, and I do try and hit them. Like I usually only go for the ones that I see are getting to like 3/4 of the cast, and then if it's not being interrupted, I try and hit it. But I can only hit 1 every 24 seconds, and they happen a lot faster than that.
Yep. Very true. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, we didn't get very far, but in reality, we we put it up through a vote on Friday on whether we wanted to do the last 3 bosses on normal or continue on and just start with heroics. And I was really shocked. I thought there would be a few people that would be like, oh, no, I need the last 3 bosses for here. And I think there was like 1 person who actually voted to go normal, maybe 2. Then
And,
there's
well,
always
we
the people
don't know
that
if he was
don't
serious
vote.
or not.
But yeah, so so that's good. I mean, I think that's awesome. We're all progressing at the same pace, because if you remember in the last expansion, we always got to that point where we're like, oh my God, do we start doing an alt run because everybody's switching out their tunes? I mean, the whole idea is to keep our mains going with this. And, I did have a couple of people whisper me and ask if they could change. And I told them, well, let's do this vote first and see how we're going to go. And we did the vote and went on heroics. So they came in with their mains. So I think that's just the way we're going to start from now on. We'll just continue with heroics from boss 1.
Sounds
So-
like good to me.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan for the man.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Lorelei, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about the Gnome race coming up. I'm going to let you do your little spiel, and I've got some additional information for that.
Yep, I was just looking at that. So again, the running of the Gnomes will be held Saturday, October 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be the event sponsored by the Guild on the Scarlet Crusade US server. They have a Facebook page called The Running of the Gnomes that you can check out. Traditionally, the Gnome racers are at level 1. You have pink hair and a pink tabard. And it says that they race from Karanos, which in Dunmora, which if you go there, you're not going to be level 1 anymore. So I'm not really sure about that. To Booty Bay via Ironforge to Stormwind on foot or tram. Chauffeur's probably okay too.
Woohoo.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I'm
It
still
feels almost cheaty,
I'm still
doesn't it?
wondering about the Karanos, because as soon as you come out of Gnomeregon, if you get to Karanos, you're going to be at least level 3.
Now,
Yeah.
what about heirloom
Yeah.
gear? Have they talked about that at all?
Not in what I've read. It says 6 podcasts so far have shown an interest in racing each other or publicizing the race on their podcast. So for listeners and hosts, now is this from somebody on the Scarlet Crusade?
Yeah, his name's Bandit. He's-
Because I was
yep.
wondering who Bandit was. Okay.
Yep.
Well, Bandit will log in on his pink-haired, pig-tailed gnome and be present at Booty Bay on his pink rocket. And you're right, I didn't read that sentence. His name is Bandit. The first 3 racers to do Slash Dance with Bandit and tell them the podcast they support will win a WoW token, $20 donation to the charity of their choice, or $20 worth of Blizzard stuff from the Blizzard store. The podcast name, your podcast name, and your character name is optional but helpful, and we've done that. And there are usually higher level people along the way to kill things to eat the racers. That's not fun. Don't do that. Don't do that.
That's
that's
half
the
the fun,
fun
right?
part of
So,
the race.
so you're hearing
Don't kill
nobody
things.
save Lorelei. That's something. Do not
Oh
save
no, I put
Lorelei.
myself in the middle of a group. I don't go in the front, and usually I'm always at the end, but I do finish the race. Okay, let's see. It says you and your listeners can run solo in parties or sacrifice each other to the Panther gods. Oh, I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
sacrifice.
Can
Yeah.
we bring
I'm-
Bronzebeard then? We need to sacrifice him.
Oh,
for
you know he's
sure.
gonna
It's about time I can
sacrifice.
actually try to kill someone instead of heal him.
So the event is scheduled for 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Scarlet Crusade US server. Please arrive early so that they can get you into one of the guilds that is going to be racing. And I guess we need to find a pink tabard.
I think they actually will give you
Oh.
a pink tabard. That's
Once
why they
you
want
get
you
in
to
the
get in
guild.
early.
Yeah, once you get in the
Oh,
guild.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
But again,
Very cool.
gosh, I need them to clarify. To get a tabard, you need to be in a city. And to be in a city, you have to leave your starting area.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just kind of see. I'm staying in the starting area for the gnome.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably be on, 45, half hour, minute before.
Yeah, I'll try
to
to do an
see-
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it may
I was
take an
worried
hour.
that
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
I was worried that if I tried to leave, that I would just level up accidentally just from
Well, you
entering
will,
areas.
yeah, just from
Yeah, you will.
acceleration getting out the door. I mean, you
Yeah,
won't level
yep.
up inside, but once you get outside, as soon as you go, to the next area, you're going to hit a level.
Right.
Well, and if you can use heirloom gear, you're going to go up even faster because you
Yeah,
get
that's
that
a
extra
cheat.
bonus.
That is
It's
so
totally
much
a
of a
cheat.
cheat. And you
Well,
need to
if
be a little
I
level
wouldn't
0
think you
pair
should
of
be able to.
pants.
I think
So-
whatever the rules are, we go with the rules. But if I were setting the rules, I'd be really hardcore.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
that's the fun of it.
I don't think they're trying to make it really hardcore. They're trying to make it
Yeah.
fun because 2,860 gnomes, 2,860 gnomes took part in this last year. So, I mean, that's a
That's
lot,
of
gnomes.
sacrifice in gnomes. That's a great. You
And
just
it
get in the
is-
middle of that group, you're set.
Yeah, and it is for charity too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'd like to get some clarification on that because you don't want everybody else running ahead of you in heirloom gear and on chauffeur motorcycles, and you're sitting back here and nothing, pair of
Yeah.
underwear, and you're just running down the road.
Well, I don't know how
Yeah.
much. What is it, like 30%
Story of my
faster for a
life.
chauffeur? I
No,
don't
wait,
think it's
there's-
much faster.
It's
No,
not
that-
much faster, but every little bit of speed helps when you're going through some of these areas.
Well, it's
No,
more than
they're
twice as
saying that
fast.
you can. Wait, are you telling me they're saying that you can ride the chauffeur?
Yeah,
Um,
that's what this guy. So what
Yep.
Laura I just read was an email that I sent. Mac from the Goblin Goldcast sent me an email to the guy who's organizing this, because this is not the sanctioned one that Blizzard's doing. They still haven't heard about Blizzard's mini event yet. So they're doing this one. They already set a date. They put it out to all the podcasters and to their fans. So that's why 6 podcasters have shown interest. We're the 7th podcaster group to show interest. But I think it's just more to get the fans and the podcasters together and just have a little fun. So I don't think they've really set any hard and fast rules.
yeah, but
but-
it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like you should be able to mount at all.
I'm not
Yeah,
going
that's-
to.
that's
Yeah,
not-
you wouldn't
that's
think
half the
so,
fun
yeah.
is running.
But
yeah, well, we
I mean,
have to go
it's-
together.
Yeah, it's running of the gnomes, not
Not the
riding
driving
in
of
the.
the gnomes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the riding of the gnomes.
It's not a gnome ride. It's a gnome
Yeah.
run.
well, and that's what I think, especially from our podcasters and for our fans and our listeners. I think we should just do it as a run. Just use your little
Yeah,
gnome
just
legs.
get together, stay in the group as much as you can, run.
Yep.
No. Well, you know what? I suppose we could say that for ourselves. No heirloom gear. Just go out
Yeah.
there. Go out there and just do it.
Well, we could say we're going to be hardcore even
Well,
if everyone else
It
isn't.
isn't going to make any difference if you got heirloom gear because it'll make
Gonna
you go up
kill
in
you
level
anyway.
faster. But I mean, what level do you think you're going to get to by the time you hit Booty Bay? I mean,
15?
what, 10? 15,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
an
probably
heirloom.
could. I mean, I would
Wow.
say at least level 10.
See, I would need to hit level 16 for it to be useful for my mage because I get blink at level 16.
Yeah, right. So, but realistically, when you're running through Stranglethorn Vale, those are 30s and 40s. So I don't care if you're level 15 or not. They're going to pounce on you, and you're going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
Panther Poodoo. Poo-poo. Doo-poo.
Poop.
Something.
All of
Poo-poo.
the above.
Yeah,
actually.
all
Yep,
of the
everything.
above.
Little puddles. You're gonna be little pink gnome puddles.
So, but I will post the link with all the information for the donations. By the way, the donations benefit the Cleveland Clinic and creators of the TUI vaccine, which is currently in human trials. It's intended to combat breast cancer. So,
Nice.
so this may be a big thing. So, if you want to do that, I have it posted. It's the dravytumblr.com post. There'll be a link there in the description, so you can go there if you actually want to make some cash donations to the charity and to the cause. So yeah, that's. I think it's going to be fun, guys. That's next Saturday. It's right before our raid. I'm going to live stream it for our fans, so You'll be able to see the gnome race, and then right after that, hopefully, it's like an hour and a half before our raid. But hopefully we'll get it done before then. I don't know. You've been on one of these before, Lorelei. Does it take more than an hour and a half?
Well, it depends on the numbers. I have no idea how long it will take with over 2,000 people, because we usually do it with maybe 10.
Oh, you
So
do it as a
you
a
die
private
like
group,
every
yeah.
2 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it can take a good hour. It's taken us a good hour and a half sometimes.
But what was interesting is they said that you're going to race from Karanos into Dunmorrow to Booty Bay via Ironforge to Stormwind on foot or tram. So, you could hop on the tram and ride it, but can you imagine 2,800 gnomes trying to get on the tram at the same time?
That's awesome. There's
That'll be
video
fun.
of that. There is video of all you see on the tram are pink heads.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No, the
Now, is
best
there-
thing is to go, take the tram, go into Stormwind, come out, go into Goldshire. And what we did was we went into the inn and everybody went upstairs and jumped on the beds. Because that's what you do when you're a gnome.
Yeah, okay. And then
Now,
what'd you do? Do you cross,
We
you cross the river?
old,
Or?
well, we did the old Hogger raid out in Goldshire and got whipped. We had about 30 people and we could not kill Hogger at all.
Yeah, and he's like
He
level
killed
15.
every one of he killed every single one of us. Little pink bodies everywhere, but it was hilarious.
Now, do we want to be like joining a raid or something so we can follow ourselves, or like how do we keep coordinated as we go?
Well, so they're going to invite you to a guild, a race guild. So I think from as far as groups from there, I would think that we all, I don't know if you could do it as a raid, but I'd imagine you can. And then just everybody with LPT invite to the raid. That way we're all in our same group.
We get to watch who's dying, and
Yeah. And I'll stay in the back, towards the back, so my camera view will see all of you. So you have to sacrifice yourself for the camera, right?
Oh, I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Oh, I plan on making it. I'm gonna make it this time.
So
I'm not gonna
anyway,
be
make it to
last.
the
I'm
end.
always last for guild.
the goal is to get to Booty Bay, find Bandit, and dance with him if you want to win the $20, or donate that $20 to the charity. So, but it's only the first 3 racers.
Yeah, I
So-
just want to get on about an hour early so I can get some more clarification on where we start.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we'll all be on Discord. Maybe I should make a separate Discord for the gnome race. What do you guys think? That way the fans can get on if they need to.
yeah, how many
Yeah,
can
that's
Discord
not a bad
handle?
idea.
Discord's unlimited. I think it's
Oh, good.
100. I think it's actually 100 per channel. So I'll just say the first, and I'll post that Discord link in the description below too, so you guys can log on to it and get into it beforehand. And then I'll probably disband that Discord channel after the race. But
I was just thinking, it's too bad, because isn't there a guy in Stormwind you can talk to turn off experience point gains? It's
Ooh,
too bad,
maybe that's what you have to do.
because there's, but the thing is you have to get all the way to Stormwind
yeah,
in order to
Yeah.
turn it
you
off.
get there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you can
I
get
didn't
on
know
the
you could do
tram, but
that.
to get to Ironforge, you're going to level up.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's quite a run.
No, I just say I'm just going to tell everybody now, just stay right at the starting location. If we have to run out of Nomuragan together, that's fine. No biggie. And then start from there. I think that's what he probably means by that he's starting at Karanos, whatever. Because I don't remember what the gnomes. Once you come out of Nomuragan, God, you're usually like level 8 by the time you get out of there when you're doing the quests. Now,
Well,
we're not
see,
gonna be doing the
I'm actually
quests.
experimenting with it right now, where I am trying to leave. I figured I would try it and see what happens as far as my level goes, or if I can get out of it without
Ooh,
getting any XP.
make another gnome though, so you don't lose
Yeah,
your
yeah,
name.
that's what
Well,
he's doing.
I doubt anybody would take it. I'd just delete this tune and recreate it if I end up leveling or something. Because but I'm gonna see if
Yeah,
like
because if you can get to the entrance, then I think that's a good starting spot.
yeah. Well, so far I've made it to the elevator without gaining any XP. So we'll see if I can
Okay.
make it out.
All right.
Yeah, you shouldn't gain anything because I've done a gnome there. I don't think I made any experience until I actually got outside.
Yeah, I just got outside.
Yeah, if you
Um,
did the pet battle, I think you might. Maybe
Uh,
not,
y-
but
yeah, you gain 65 experience as soon as you get outside the thing, which is like 17% of a level, just for getting to Tinkertown, which is right outside.
yeah.
So you
Okay.
can.
So you gotta not kill anything, even if it's attacking you.
Well, nothing attacks you on the way out.
Yeah, you won't get attacked
Um,
outside there.
you can
It's
just walk
outside.
out. There, everything's yellow.
I think of the
It's
tunnel, though.
yeah, in the
No, they
tunnel.
changed that. There's
Yeah,
you
none
don't
of the
get
things were
killed out
red.
there.
They were all
Oh.
yellow on the way to the entrance. Everything was. There was nothing that would aggro me without me attacking it.
Okay.
They've definitely made changes to that.
Oh, cool.
Well, maybe we start off in Tinkertown then.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm right outside there, right outside Tinkertown, or right like at the entrance there, and I gained a little bit of XP. Like I said, I'm at 17%.
Discovering Tinkertown.
Yeah, just from discovering Tinkertown, you gain 65 experience points with no heirloom gear.
Okay. Yeah. So well, that's probably a good idea. Everybody, let's just meet up, fans and raid members and everybody. Let's just meet up an hour before, and then if we have to run up to Tinkertown and start from there, because I guarantee you, running all the way to,
I'll
where he's saying,
put a question up on that website or
Okay.
on the Facebook and see if I get a response about that.
all right, yeah, and we can announce that in our Discord. Provided we don't get over 100 people. We might. You never know. So, all right. Well, we got to move along. So, I hear that off in the distance. Cue the music. It's time for Lorelei's Pet Battle Minute.
Hello, pet battlers. Today I'd like to get you started with your Raiding with Leashes 5 Cuticlism achievement. These pets are confirmed drops from bosses, and drop rates have been reported as not too bad. It appears that these pets will drop whether you are on normal or heroic, so do whichever's easiest for you. Each week I'll cover a raid to start farming. We'll get started with Firelands. Head out to Mount Hyjal and enjoy doing some old content. Very easy to solo at 110. Shanix drops Blazehound, which looks like one of the undead fiery dogs that roams around that area. You'll get the Cinderweb Recluse from Bethalag. Continue on and you'll get the Infernal Pyroclaw from Major Domo Staghelm. And last but not least, Balrog will drop Surger, which I happened to get today, along with the mount from Alice Racer.
Nice.
Got
Congrats.
it. Shouldn't take too long to collect all 4, but with my luck, it will. The good news is that all the pets needed for this achievement are cageable, so if you don't like grinding old raids, hit up your local auction house and go by and see what pets are up for sale. With a lot of people out there farming, hopefully you'll also be able to check out other realms for the cheapest prices. And that's your WoW pet news for today.
All right. And then there is
Getting Deeps with JobUI.
Today's Getting Deeps is all about being raid ready. Sure, you have your basics, food, flasks, potions, make sure your gear is gemmed and enchanted, get your bonus roll tokens, and be on time to the raid. But there is one more thing that a lot of raiders don't do that they really should. That would make raiding a much better experience for everyone involved. Know the mechanics before you raid. That's right, you should know the mechanics of the fight before you show up to raid. You can watch videos on YouTube, read explanations and strategies from websites like Wowhead and Icy Veins. You can even read through the in-game adventure guide for a description of what the mechanics of the fight will be. Your raid leaders will likely have worked out a strategy on how to handle the mechanics, but they shouldn't have to explain to you what all the mechanics are. They should only have to explain how they would like your raid group to try and handle those mechanics. This will save a lot of time in your raids. It will also make raid leading a lot more pleasurable for the people in your raid that have that responsibility. As someone who often ends up doing explanations in our raid, having a raid team who all followed this part of being raid ready would be a massively cool thing. So take a load off your raid leader's shoulders, be a responsible raider, and go learn those mechanics before you raid. So when it comes time to raid, you'll be ready to keep getting those deeps.
Amen.
Fantastic. And our tank in address.
What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress?
This week's Come At Me a Tanking Minute is brought to you by, again, low-level tanking. So, in preparation for all this Gnome racing, I'm getting quite charged up about it. I have been working on some low-level tanking and remembering all the basic charm that comes with being a low-level tank and running through instances. Today I want to talk about dragging your party along. Some people's pace in an instance can be glacially slow. You've probably been in that situation where you're just waiting for the tank to pull and you don't know what's going on. Maybe they're, having to share a beverage with a loved one or something before they actually start moving. But in any case, that can be really frustrating. As a tank, when you queue, because you've got such a fast queue, you should be ready from the get-go to run like the wind. So your goal is to drag the party through the instance as fast as you possibly can. Now for myself, I use an add-on that will tell me if people are actually in range or not. So if I start to see one person or two people in the party are behind me, I feel like I'm almost doing the right thing, but give them the chance to catch up a little bit. If one of them's the healer, I'll even do that the more so. It doesn't hurt to ask the party if you're going too fast or not. I tend to run like the wind, use all my speed cooldowns, move very quickly, especially in the low-level content that people are not really in terrific danger of dying in. Move like crazy, and then after a while might type something like fast enough, and usually people are too busy trying to move on to the next thing that they don't have time to respond back, and they just keep on moving. Now you don't want to go so crazy that people aren't having fun and they're getting confused and frustrated. Anyone who chatters that way in party, I usually want to go a little slower, give them what they need. But for the most part, I think you'll have much faster, much happier dungeons if you keep on moving fast. A related skill, sometimes you have to bluff it. I, for some reason, do just not understand Gnomergon very well. I have no idea where to go. So here's my bluffing tip for moving fast as the tank. Make sure your camera is out just enough that you can see where everyone's going. And generally, at least 2 out of 3 people will start moving in the right direction. You just have to try to keep ahead of them and keep on moving the way they're pushing you. And that's Come At Me, a Tanking Minute.
I love bluffing it. And then there is...
Hi, it's Tapachino's Tap Into the Healing Minute. Like I said last week, one of these days you're going to heal your first raid, and one of the biggest issues doing raids as you level your healer is mana regeneration. And on that note, I want to talk a bit about the trinkets that are made by alchemists. Now, I do have to tell you that I am the stereotypical healer with alchemy and herbalism professions. They do go nicely together, as you can make flasks, potions, cauldrons to help your raid stay alive, and they're pretty good to use on yourself as well. But you can also make yourself trinkets. At alchemy level 350 and being revered with Almador in Shatrath City, you can start to make these useful items. If equipped, not only do they have the chance to increase your main stat as you heal, but, and I quote, they also increase the effect that healing and mana potions have on the wearer by 40%. That is a pretty good boost. Also, with the ability to upgrade your Legion Alchemist Stone with Obliterum, you can have yourself a nice 935 level item. So as you are leveling and healing and don't have the best in slot trinket yet, give the Alchemy Stones a shot. Put one in your trinket slot, and in those final moments of battle, down a potion, regain some mana, and heal that team to the boss kill. But keep in mind, you need to be an alchemist to wear it. And that is my Tap Into the Healing Minute. And oh my god, not a single mistake.
I know!
Nicely done.
We're the only
And-
ones.
and
Well,
you
no,
s-
you and Epistle.
And you
Achievement
said,
unlocked.
and you said trinket.
And I said trinket several times.
Fantastic. All right. It's WFN News, Warcraft Fafford News. The Mage Tower should be the one up next at the Broken Shores, because this goes out on Monday. I'm hoping it will be. It's got Fell Treasures and Light as a Feather. The weekly quest, Lorelei, Pet Battle Bonus Event.
Yay.
WoW tokens are still at 164,000 in the States this week. I bought my token. So maybe you should buy yours. And that's pretty much it. Everything's pretty slow for news this week. So before we call it an evening, anybody got anything they want to add before we go? JoBui, you're going to throw your week orders up on our Facebook page?
I am. I'm going to get that up and posted. By the time this podcast goes live, it should be available.
Fantastic. And that's at facebook.com/Lions Pride Tavern. So you can check us out. We've got live streams every Friday and Saturday night of our raids. And that's on the YouTube channel. Just do a search for Lions Pride Tavern live stream. You can also view our podcast as a video and listen to it instead of doing it on iTunes or Google Play. And that's on YouTube also. Just do a search for Lions Pride Tavern podcast. And we're on, like, this episode is episode 57. If you put that in there, you should be able to see the episode. Plus, you get to watch our lovely digital artist Donna Bell draw. Let's see. I don't know what she's doing this week, but last week she drew JoBui in his pirate costume because he won the pirate transmog. So yeah. So it's always cool, you know, if you don't want to just listen to it, if you want to just watch it, you know, you can watch her draw. She speeds it up, so she's not really that fast. Trust me.
And she's fantastic.
It is. She does a great job.
And you want to sign up so that you can see us all die over and over and over.
I have a feeling that that's going to change.
I don't know.
I was
Well,
talking
maybe
not
the
about our
next-
raid. I was talking about our
gnome
gnomish.
race.
The
Oh,
gnomish,
the
yeah.
gnome race. Oh, goodness.
For the
Yeah,
raid,
You're right. We will be dying over and over and
No,
over
for the
again.
the raid, we're all pros. I don't know what you'd be thinking before.
no, in the raid, we'll be dying over and over again. It's just a matter of which boss will be doing the killing.
Exactly.
Oh, I
The
definitely
joy of
vote for
progression.
Hogger first.
I want to thank Charm for all of our beautiful music that she supplies to us for our minutes, except for JoBui's, which is from BenSound at bensound.com. I want to thank all of our fans for listening, and thank you, members of our panel, for being here again this raid weekend. And we'll see you all next week.
See you next week.
Thanks.
See you
folks.
next week. Gnome race.
Yep, don't
See you
forget.
then.
I kissed an orc and I liked it. The taste of his Bulgur chapstick. I kissed an orc just to try it. I hope my ally friends don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't mean I'm in love tonight.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Lions Pride. Hey, everybody.
Wow.
Right off the bat.
Lions
Just-
Pride.
Right.
Hey, everybody.
Lions
Leather,
Pride
yellow,
Tavern.
feather.
Love you guys.
We love you too.
Happy Sunday.